What if I told you that one of the richest economies in human history wasn't powered by oil, trade, or technology, but by something pulled straight out of the desert? Gold. Not just a little gold, but an endless supply that turned an entire civilization into a global superpower for thousands of years. This is the story of ancient Egypt, the kingdom that never stopped mining. Imagine standing under the blazing sun of the eastern desert. No cities, no farms, no rivers, just endless rock and silence. Yet beneath your feet lies the reason Egypt became one of the most powerful civilizations ever. Gold, it wasn't just wealth here, it was power, it was religion, it was identity. In ancient Egypt, gold wasn't seen as mere metal. It was believed to be the flesh of the gods, especially the sun god Ra. That meant owning gold wasn't just about being rich, it meant being closer to divinity. And no one controlled more gold than the pharaoh. The pharaoh wasn't just a king, he was considered a living god on earth, and gold was the symbol that proved it. From golden crowns to massive temples covered in gold leaf, every ounce reinforced the idea that the ruler of Egypt was chosen by the heavens. But here's where things get fascinating. Egypt didn't rely on trade to get its gold, not at first. It mined it, constantly, relentlessly, for centuries. The main source of this gold was a region known as Nubia, located south of Egypt along the Nile. In fact, the Egyptians called it Ta Seti, and later Nub, which literally means gold. Now, that's how important it was. Nubia wasn't just a neighboring land, it was Egypt's treasure chest. Once Egypt gained control over Nubia, it unlocked one of the richest gold-producing regions in the ancient world. Mines stretched across harsh deserts, far from any major settlements. And despite the brutal conditions, mining never stopped. So how did they actually get the gold? It wasn't easy. There were no machines, no explosives, no modern tools. Workers used stone hammers and fire-setting techniques, heating rock with fire and then cooling it quickly to crack it open. After breaking the rocks, they crushed them into fine powder and washed it to extract tiny gold particles. This process was slow, exhausting, and incredibly dangerous. Most of the labor came from slaves, prisoners of war, and forced workers. These people worked in extreme heat, often with little food or water. Many didn't survive, yet the mining continued, year after year, dynasty after dynasty, because the reward was worth it. Gold flowed into Egypt in massive quantities. It filled royal treasuries, decorated temples, and funded enormous construction projects. Think about the pyramids, the statues, the monuments. None of that scale would have been possible without the wealth generated by gold. And Egypt didn't just hoard its gold, it used it strategically. Gold became Egypt's currency in international diplomacy. Other kingdoms didn't have the same access to gold, so Egypt used it to influence, control, and dominate foreign relations. Pharaohs sent gold as gifts to secure alliances, avoid conflicts, or gain loyalty. There are even ancient letters, like the Amarna letters, where foreign rulers practically begged the Egyptian pharaoh for gold. One king wrote something like, "In your land, gold is as common as dust." Imagine that. Gold as common as dust. That reputation made Egypt incredibly powerful. While other civilizations struggled for resources, Egypt had a steady flow of wealth that seemed almost limitless. But this endless gold economy wasn't just about politics or power. It shaped everyday life too. Goldsmiths became highly respected artisans. They crafted intricate jewelry, burial masks, and sacred objects. The most famous example, the golden mask of Tutankhamun, not just a symbol of wealth, but a masterpiece of craftsmanship that still amazes the world today. Gold was also essential in burial practices. Egyptians believed in the afterlife, and they wanted to carry their wealth with them. Tombs were filled with gold objects to ensure comfort and status in the next world. So in a way, gold connected life, death, and the divine. It wasn't just part of the economy, it was part of existence. But here's the deeper truth. Egypt's gold economy worked because it was controlled, centralized, organized. The state managed mining operations, labor, and distribution. This wasn't random extraction. It was a system. One of the earliest examples of a resource-driven economy managed at a national level. And that's what made it sustainable for so long. While other civilizations rose and fell due to shortages or instability, Egypt maintained a steady foundation of wealth. Gold gave it resilience. It gave it influence. It gave it time. But even an empire built on gold couldn't last forever. Over time, external invasions, internal conflicts, and shifting trade routes began to weaken Egypt's control over its resources. Nubia was lost and regained multiple times. Power shifted. And slowly the endless flow of gold began to fade. Yet the legacy remained. Even today, when we think of ancient Egypt, we don't just think of pyramids or mummies, we think of gold. Shimmering, untouchable, eternal. Because that's what Egypt built. Not just monuments of stone, but a reputation forged in gold. A civilization that understood something powerful. Control the resource, and you control the world. And for thousands of years, Egypt did exactly that.